Hi and welcome to Priori Digital Studio tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to set up and use your automated annual budget spreadsheet in the most efficient way. In this video, I am using Go Sheets, but the Excel version is exactly the same. First thing, we protect most of the cells where there are formulas to make sure that you don't erase any important formulas that could impact the spreadsheet. So if you see this message, it means you are not supposed to touch it. But don't worry, I will show you step by step how to prepare your spreadsheet. If by mistake you touch a cell with a formula and see this message, simply click on the X and you will be fine. Moreover, we established a color code to show you which cells can be edited and which one cannot. So basically, you can only edit the cells that have a white background. Another small warning, please don't move a cell from one place to another. If you do move a cell, it could generate an issue by messing up the automation of the spreadsheet. The best way to avoid these errors is to copy and paste your data. The first tab of the spreadsheet is the Setup tab. As you can see on the left-hand side of the tab, you will find a ribbon with a list of all the tabs to easily navigate through them. The tabs are separated by sections for easy navigation. The first section is the Setup area where you can enter all your financial information and configure the spreadsheet. This section is crucial as you can frequently return to these tabs to auto-populate the other sections of the spreadsheet. Next, you'll find the Dashboard section, which includes the main dashboard, the annual total dashboard, and a monthly calendar view. Following that, you'll find the Monthly tab sections, which contains 12 tabs for each month of the year. Finally, the last section is designed to enhance your wealth, budget, and overall financial management, featuring 4 insightful tabs. The whole menu is clickable, so if you want to go to the January tab, you simply have to click on January link and the spreadsheet will automatically bring you to this specific tab. If you do not want to see this menu, you also have the possibility to hide it. To do so, simply click on the minus sign and the menu will be hidden. So as you can see, you will see this small message and it's the only time where you can click on OK. This menu is available in all the tabs of this spreadsheet. If you want to open it again, simply click on the plus, click on OK, and you should see it appear again. In the rest of the Setup tab, you will see 5 steps to help you start your spreadsheet and populate the information in the following tabs. Step 1. In this table, you will have to enter your currency symbol so that you won't have to enter it anywhere else in this spreadsheet. We are in dollars, so we simply type in the dollar sign, but if you are in euros or any other symbol, you can simply type in your symbol here and it will appear everywhere else in the spreadsheet. Then in step 2, you will have to set up the starting date of the spreadsheet by typing in the year and selecting the month with the drop-down menu. This spreadsheet works on a 12-month basis. Typically, the year starts in January for my personal budget, but you could perfectly start your budget when you purchase the spreadsheet or anytime within the year. Step 3, you will have to define the calculation setup of your budget. You have the possibility between a zero-based budget, where your budget will be reset every month to 0, and then the second option is a carry-over budget. With this option, your budget will be rolled over months. For this example, let's take the zero-based budget and then I will switch the strategy later to show you the difference. In step 4, you will be able to enter your different income categories or income stream. In general, you will only have 1 or 2 different income categories if you are a couple, for example. In step 5, the last feature of this tab is to define your expenses category. The spreadsheet is already separated into 5 big categories: bills, subscriptions, expenses, savings, and debts. Under each big category, you will be able to define your own subcategories. These subcategories will be used in every monthly tabs of your spreadsheet. So if you need to add a new subcategory in the middle of the year, you will have to come back to the Setup tab and add it here. The information is simply typed in, so it's very simple to add an extra subcategory. As you can see here, you also have another little plus sign. If you click on it, it will open some extra rows. We have these plus signs everywhere in the spreadsheet to give you extra space to enter more categories or more information. So now let's take a look at the Transaction tab. The Transaction tab is a transaction tracker where you will be able to log all your transactions over the year. There are basically two ways to enter your data in this specific tab. The first one would be to manually enter all your transactions. So you just have to type in the date of the transaction, the amount, and use the drop-down menu to select the subcategory previously defined in the Setup tab. The category will appear automatically. You also have some space for a description if needed. The second option, which I find the most interesting, involves copying and pasting data directly from a CSV file of your bank statement. Since our spreadsheet has a specific structure and design, you'll need to copy and paste your data column by column. Be aware that you might need to format the original CSV file, as the format can vary between different banks. So let's walk through an example together. I have opened a CSV file with sample data. First, I'll select the data in the date column, copy it by pressing on Ctrl+C, then switch back to the spreadsheet and paste it by pressing on Ctrl+Shift+V in the next empty row of the date column. So as you can see here, the dates were copied and pasted. If the dates aren't recognized or if the month and day are swapped, you might need to adjust the date format directly in the CSV file. So for Excel, you can modify the date format by selecting the cell, clicking on number, date, and then choosing the correct format. So for Google Sheet, you can select the date, go to Format, Number, and then Custom Date and Time, and create the correct format to match the spreadsheet. The default date format in this spreadsheet is month, day, and year. So once the dates are corrected, follow the same step for the amount column. Depending on how the data is formatted in your CSV file, you might need to make some adjustments here as well. So let's take an example together and copy our amount. So same thing, Ctrl+C, go back to the spreadsheet, and then Ctrl+Shift+V. So as you can see here, all the data is pasted. So as you can see here, the CSV file provided by our bank creates holes. So we will have either to copy and paste more numbers, or we could have simply manually entered the missing data. So regardless of the method you choose, you'll need to manually select your subcategories, but the category will be automatically assigned. So we will choose our subcategories now. Finally, keep in mind that not every transaction in your bank account impacts your budget. For example, a credit card payment should not be counted since it would result in doubling counting the same transaction. So as shown a few seconds ago, we copy and pasted our data from the CSV file provided by our bank, but keep in mind that not all banks provide CSV files and that you can also enter your data one by one manually. Once all your data is in this table, you can simply scroll to the right and you will see a really similar table. If you do not do anything, it will display exactly the same data, but the most interesting feature is that you can filter and sort all your data. So let's take an example together. As you can see here, you have a lot of choice to sort your data. Let's select a subcategory, for example, childcare and schooling. So as you can see now, we only have all the transactions from this subcategory. So now let's filter through the amount. So let's put a minimum at $5 and then the maximum at $250. So as you can see here, we just have a few transactions left. Then we can use the sorting option and sort it by amount. We could also sort it by ascending or descending. When you want to delete the filter and get back all your data, you simply click all the filters and then click on delete. And as you can see, all the data will reappear. The first tab of the dashboard section is the main dashboard of this spreadsheet. You do not need to enter any information in this tab. Everything is auto-populated. This tab is basically a summary of your yearly information. And as you can see on the top, you have all your basic information, like how much was your annual income, your annual expenses, and so on. Then you will find multiple comprehensive charts that help you understand your yearly financial performance. You'll find 6 detailed charts that provides insights onto your income, a breakdown on your spending, an overview of your savings, and a list of your largest expenses ranked from highest to lowest, along with their corresponding dollar amounts and percentages. As you scroll down, you'll find a summary of the key tabs of this spreadsheet. In the sinking fund section, you can easily track your saving goals. You'll also get an overview of your overall debt situation and visualize how your net worth grows throughout the year. I'll cover these tabs in more details later in this tutorial. So now let's have a look at the annual total tab. The annual total is basically a summary of your 12 months separated into 3 tables in the chart. You do not need to enter any information in this tab, everything is auto-populated. This tab provides a monthly summary of your income and expenses, making it easy to quickly review your yearly spending across various categories. It is a valuable tool for identifying any areas where you might be overspending, allowing you to make necessary adjustments. So now let's have a look at the Smart Calendar tab. In this tab, you simply select the year and the month to view all your income, bills, subscriptions, and debts. You also have the option to choose the start date of the week. So now let's use the drop-down menu to change the month to September. And if I wanted, I could also change the start date to any day of the week. So as you can see here, we can easily see all our bills and expenses based on the colors of the legend. Then every time you pay the bill, you can simply click the checkbox, and as you can see, it will become orange and strike through. We also added some charts and graphs at the top to help you understand your monthly bill calendar. So as you can see here, you have a summary of how many income, bills, subscriptions, and debts are due for the month, as well as their associated amounts. You also have an expense distribution to see the distribution in between your debt, subscriptions, and bills, and also a small chart where you see basically where you spend your most of the money. This calendar could be also printed to help you never forget to pay a bill. So the first thing is to select the whole calendar with your mouse by clicking on the right button. Then simply go to the printing icon, click on it, and as you can see here, you can see your calendar. You have to update the printing settings, so select cells and then make sure that you are in landscape and the scale fit to page. Then you can click on next, and as you can see here, you will be easily able to print your calendar. If you are using Excel, these specific instructions are available in our README instruction file available in your order. So now let's take a look at one of the 12 monthly tabs. You have 12 monthly tabs from January to December. You can start your budget in any month, not necessarily in January, depending on the start date you selected in the Setup tab. We'll take the month of February as an example, but the way you fill in the information and your data is the same for each month. At the top of the tab, you'll find your monthly summary data, which allows you to quickly see your total earnings and expenses for the month. There's also several charts that highlights important aspects of your budget, such as budget versus actual spending and allocation summary. You also can see a comparison between the current month and the previous month. Just below this, you'll see the budget summary, which is auto-populated to help you better understand your financial performance. The aim for the monthly tabs is to create a budget based on your estimated income and expenses to make sure that you have enough money to pay for all these expenses. If you have money left at the end of the month, well, good job. You can use it to pay your debts more quickly or put this money in your savings. But the most important thing is to keep this concept in mind. So the first thing you want to fill is the income table. In this table, the source of income is automated based on the Setup tab. After that, you have the expected column that is not automated. That is where you will enter your budgeted income. You can simply type in the information. Next, you'll need to budget your expenses for each of the 5 major expenses categories. The category names are already populated based on the information entered in the Setup tab. Remember, there is a difference between your budget and actual expenses. The budget column represents the amount you plan to spend each month, while the real column shows the real amount spent in each subcategory during the month. This amount is totally automated based on the transaction log. For all your expenses, it's the same principle. For your budget column, you simply type in the information. As you can see, we also added some visual cues to help you better understand your budget. An arrow pointing down indicates that you spend less than in the previous period, while an arrow pointing up signifies an increase. Additionally, we've included a visual percentage to show your budget utilization, which is comparing your budget versus your real expenses. If you need more rows, simply tick the plus sign here and 25 more rows will appear. In Google Sheets, it will be the only time you will be authorized to click on OK after ticking the plus or minus sign. And basically, the rest of the tab is completely automated. So as you scroll down, you will see 3 more sections. The first section is the transaction filter table, where all the expense transactions from the month will appear automatically. This table pulls data directly from the transaction tab. Additionally, you can filter your transaction at the top of the table by date, amount, category, and subcategory. While transactions are initially sorted by date, you can also sort them by amount and in ascending or descending order. So let's take an example together and filter by category. Let's select the bills and then let's filter by amount and let's put $10 and $200. So as you can see here, it's filtered by amount. Then we can sort the data by amount and then ascending order. So as you can see here, all the data were properly filtered. If you want to remove the filter, it's the same thing as in the transaction tracker. Simply delete the data that you just added. The second section features the when do I spend my money chart and table, which shows you when you spend the most throughout the month. Then in the third section, you will find the where does my money go chart and table. This section organizes your expenses from the highest to the lowest, with the chart summarizing the information to help you focus on your largest monthly expenditure. If you scroll up, you will also find a summary section of the total money received and the total money spent. As you can see, you also have some arrow down or arrow up showing you interesting data based on the previous period and the current period. Just below, you also have the interesting feature where you can see how much money left to budget you have and how much money left to spend that you have. Now, let's see how changing the calculation setup for carryover affects our number. So now let's go back to the setup tab and change our budget strategy. So we will go from zero-based budget to the carryover budget. So now let's go back to our February budget. As you can see here, the total money received changed, and in the graph right below the left to budget, it also changed. Earlier, the left to budget was in red, and now it's in the positive and in green. Because basically the carryover strategy carries over your leftover months after months. So as you can see now, in February, these amounts now reflects the combined totals from January and February. So now let's take a look at the sinking fund tab. This tab will help you set money aside to reach your goals. To set up your sinking fund, you just have to list your goals. You can list up to 15 sinking funds in this tab. First, give your money saving goal a name, then write the amount of money needed to reach that goal, the amount you aim to put aside each month toward that goal, and the amount of money you already have aside for that specific goal. It could be 0 at that point. The rest of the table is auto-populated. So now let's take an example together. Let's say that our next goal is to buy a new dog. So simply type in buy a new dog or buy a dog. Let's say our goal is to get $2,000 for this purchase. Let's say that we want to put $50 aside each month. Let's say that we already have $500 for this goal. So as you can see here, we have some auto-populated data in the saved left and month left column. So in the contribution tracker on the left-hand side, you have to track the amount you put aside for your goals and assign it to specific goals. Double click on the date to pick a date from the calendar. Then use the drop-down menu to pick a goal. And finally, write the amount you just put aside. As time goes by, you will see your progression increase. You can easily see how many months are left until you reach your goal and the date your goal should be achieved. So let's enter an example together in the contribution tracker. So let's enter the date here. And then use the drop down menu to find our new goal, which was buying a dog. And then let's put $100 aside for this. So as you can see here, we see our progression changed, as well as the goal amount saved, the number of money left that we need to put aside, and the number of months left based on the amount of money we want to put aside each month. So now let's take a look at the debt calculator tab. You will be able to see all your debts payment, as well as the debt-free date. The first thing that you will want to do is to enter the date you started paying your first debt. Then you have to choose your repayment method. You have the choice in between the avalanche strategy, the snowball method, and the custom method. In the avalanche method, you prioritize the debts based on their interest rate. You pay all the minimum payment for all the debts, but you allocate all extra money to the debt with the highest interest rate. This method helps you minimize the total interest paid over time. The snowball method focuses on paying debts with the lowest balance first, then progressing to the larger ones. Once a debt is paid off, the freed up money goes toward paying another debt, hence creating a snowball effect. If you want to customize which debts you want to pay first, you can choose the custom option, and the debt will be treated and analyzed in the order you wrote them in the table below. You can also add some extra cash you have freed up that you would like to put toward paying your debts, but this is optional only. Finally, you need to list all your debts. If you choose the avalanche or snowball strategies, you do not need to bother with the order you write them, since they will be reorganized based on your chosen strategy. If you choose the custom method, you have to write them in order you plan to pay for them. The only thing that you will need to do is to enter the name of your debt, the initial balance, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Normally, those informations are available in your bank statement. So let's enter an example together. So let's leave the date in the 2024 in June. And for our chosen strategy, let's choose the snowball strategy. So let's leave the monthly extra payment at $50. That makes sense. And then let's go to our debt tracking to enter our information. So let's enter an example together. Let's add another credit card, which is American Express. Let's say the initial balance is $750. The interest rate is 10% and the minimum payment is $50. So as you can see here, if we scroll to the right, we will see our new card, which is in orange right here. You can also see all the information for this specific credit card. So the initial balance, the minimum payment, the interest rate, and the interest owed in this credit card overview. In the overview column, you can also add some extra money that you want to put towards your debt repayment, or you can also subtract some money. So for example, if for a specific month you have some freed up money, as you can see here, it will go toward paying the rest of your debt. If you put a minus sign, it means that you will pay less of your debt for this specific month. So in the orange table here, you also have a summary of all your debts, meaning that the initial balance is the summary or the sum of all your debt. Same thing for the monthly payment, and you can also see your debt payment free date here. So now let's take a look at the net worth tab. The net worth tab will help you visualize your financial worth over time. The first thing that you want to do in this tab is to list your assets and liabilities. So as you can see here, we already listed a few examples for cash, investment, properties as assets. And if you scroll down, you will see a list of examples for liabilities. Every month, you will add your assets and liabilities total, meaning that you can just check your bank account bottom line. So to fill in the information in this tab, you simply have to type in the information at the end of each month. It's very intuitive and simple. Once you have started to fill in some data, the sheets will automatically calculate everything for you. At the top, you will be able to see your overall net worth, your annual growth in dollar, as well as in percentage. In the graphs, you will be able to see your net worth over the months, the difference between your assets and liabilities, as well as the asset distribution. So now let's take a look at the challenge tab. This tab aims to track how many days you did not spend money, as well as setting challenges for yourself. You simply have to enter the number of days that you do not want to spend any money. The rest is automated, and you will be able to see the number of days without spending for each month in the chart. Then you will see 12 small calendars, so one for each month of the year. So when you see a day with the orange background, then it means that you did not spend any money during that specific day. All the data comes from the transaction tab. You will also see the current month highlighted in green. So that's it. I hope this tutorial helps you easily set up your spreadsheet. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. Follow Priori Digital Studio on YouTube for sneak peeks on our new templates.